Melbourne in springtime is an incredible place to be. They love their sport in this southern city almost as much as they love a party. When you get the chance to combine the two, this city is unstoppable. The Melbourne Cup week vibe is infectious, and it's all because of a horse race
that sees a nation hold its collective breath for a bit over 3 minutes and showcase to the world a national celebration that is uniquely Australian. It is one of the world's great sporting festivals. The grace, speed and beauty of the horse, combined with the passion, flair and excitement of the people, its history is rich.
For Australians, going to the Cup is a bucket list event, to dress up in your finest or not so finest, to be a part of history.
50 years ago this week, the world's top model, Jean Strimpton, took Flemington by storm. One day, that dress, it changed Australian fashion forever. And now, Flemington is awash, with tens of thousands trying to be that next shrimp.
And my favourite, Makybe Diva. She changed my life forever. There'll never be another.
But a champion becomes a legend. Makybe Diva has won it.
And then there's the legendary jockey Roy Higgins, the Professor. It's 50 years ago today that he and Bart teamed up together to win the Melbourne Cup for the very first time with the Bonnie mare, Lightfingers.
Bart Cummings, our national treasure, the legendary trainer of 12 Melbourne Cup winners who left us this year aged 87.
Internationals fly in en masse, chasing $6.2 million in prize money and the unofficial title of World Champion Stayer.
And Protectionist is bursting through.
Last year, Germany's Protectionist became the 4th overseas winner in the last 5 years.
It's Germany's Melbourne Cup. Protectionist by 3 lengths to Red Canoe.
And when you talk about drama in sport, this is it. Imagine sitting aboard a Melbourne Cup horse, waiting for the clock to tick to 3. And the gates crack.
I have been lucky to train the winner, Ferrente. What a horse.
And that starts a celebration that reverberates throughout the world. A new champion, a new slice of history.
Australia's greatest race is now the world's race, and everyone has a part to play.
It's time to share in the story. And so that's where we find ourselves today, eh? At this moment. On a morning that we know something special will happen this afternoon at this racecourse in this sporting capital of this country. A beautiful blue sky overhead, it's Emirates Melbourne Cup Day. What a race. It does stop this nation, and I think, have a look at this. We've never seen this before on Melbourne Cup morning, have we? Because of the track, everybody walking it. Katsumi Yoshida's been here and won before with Delta Blues. Can he win today? And the chief steward's out there, the jockeys are out there because there might be a fast lane today. We're told it's a good 4 inside, but outside from 10 metres it's a soft 5 as we welcome you to Flemington on Emirates Melbourne Cup Day. $6 million in prize money, 3.6, and the trophy, it's gold, it's rare gold. $175,000 it's worth, but nah, it's a lot more than that. It's what everyone wants to get their hands on. As I welcome the two Simons and Francesca, don't you dare touch it. You've been so close before, you guys. How you going?
Oh, good. I mean, it wouldn't be Cup Day without a bit of drama, would it? It always is. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel a bit like a kind of detective trying to piece together all the bits of information coming from the various stables, trying to work out who's going to be the winner today. Everybody wants this so badly.
Puzzle, and there'll be plenty of drama, be assured. And will the drama be increased if the one female in the field, 23 of the 24 contestants are male? Can the mare win it? And if not the mare, can Michelle Payne be the first female jockey to ride a Melbourne Cup winner? Ooh, it could be a fairy tale.
Jane Bunn, the 7 News meteorologist, joins us today as she did on Derby Day. Jane, very different outlook as we come to you this morning.
Most certainly, Bruce. There is no comparison to Derby Day. There's no rain, there's no risk of thunderstorms. Instead, we do have that sunshine. So it feels very different. It was a very crisp start to the day, about 8 degrees. The goosebumps are going away now. We do have that light but cool southerly breeze. I'm expecting a top around 21 degrees. That's what it should be as we run the Cup, and there'll be plenty of sunshine, so it should be pretty good.
He's just wanting to jump out the gates and relax, so we did let him be today.
Wow.
Thanks, Brucey. I'm actually feeling quite sentimental today. Believe it or not, it's 30 years to the day since Princess Diana came to Flemington for the 1985 Melbourne Cup. Now, we are super excited today to have another member of that famous family joining us here in the British-themed Emirates marquee, Lady Kitty Spencer. I cannot wait to meet her. I am, of course, going to have to be on my best behaviour.
And it will also be a lot of fun trying to pick the winner of the hugely popular Maya Fashions on the Field competition. Today, it is the Women's Racewear category as well as the coveted Design Award. They're both up for grabs.
I tell you what, all this people watching is thirsty work. So it's lucky I've organised a date with a Schweppes mixologist for a little later on. In the meantime, it would be rude not to do some research. This one's non-alcoholic though. Happy Cup Day!
Такси!
You stripped your love down to the wire. Fire shining cold alone outside. But I see you behind those tired eyes.
Indeed, any of the channels at 7 by simply downloading the +7 app now. So we go into the mounting out for the opening event, the Emirates Airline Plate. And Francesca, let's start with a horse we know pretty well, Miss Rock.
Yes, we do. We know, we've seen her at the races, and we saw her win very impressively at Caulfield just over 3 weeks ago, beating Pearl Congenial and Valiano, who we've seen run really well since. So that's a very good form line.
Smooth and stable, got to respect the push in the market. And I can see one M. Pavlich down. I wonder if it's Maddie Pavlich, the great docker.
Well, it's interesting you say, because 2-year-old Speed is clearly in the family, because her brother, Prompt Return, won the Maribyrnong Plate on Stakes Day last year, and he's also running today a bit later on in the card.
I will hide behind my
Кино.
За 2 месяца.
What a wonderful crowd. They're expecting over 100,000 today, and certainly the weather is a real turn on, isn't it, as the masses. Let's go to Sammy Harlan on his little Nettie Bryant again today. Sam?
Кино. Кино это, кино.
Домино.
Кино и домино. Кино.
Что он делает? Что он...
Видео.
Что скучаешь?
Фото?
I do apologise here, we'll sort that out. So just breaking up there, Sam. Let's go to you, Muns, for the hot horse in the opening event.
And inside barrier, but also steady money for the top two picks. But stop making sense. We're going forward here in the first, Bruce. That's not a statement.
Group 3, 150 grand, so valuable for 2-year-old fillies. What did John O'Shea, who's got in for Dig, tell you about the track?
He said he really likes his filly and he would fancy her, except that she's drawn 15 and he said she's on the wrong side of the track. He says the closest you are to the inside rail, the better. I said, is there not a 10-metre strip of good ground? And he said, closer to the rail, the better.
Well, keep an eye on her because she's got an action like you, Francesca. She's one side stall, so we're ready to go. Set for action. Race 1, and the 2-year-olds are away. Miss Rock got a good getaway from the middle of the line, and Bangs near the inside also away very fast. Trez was showing good speed out wide, and In for a Dig is trying to come across as well.
Gefilte Fisch. Чейный.
Иночка сделала.
Ух ты.
Доллар штучка, gefilte Fisch, доллар штучка, доллар. Gefilte Fisch, доллар.
Галина сестра, это самое.
Яник, доллар.
Вот же, подкашка. А вот просто я расскажу, обожали ехать воды.
У нас тоже друзья ездили.
Кредитку между ягодиц. Да, у меня кредитка даже в Солоде.
Кредитку вот сюда
Полосы, не полоса.
У нас тоже, допустим, друзья ездили.
Не, они обожают, я тебе говорю.
Hitting well, the big girl, and Concealer hit the line powerfully to beat Prompt Response. Photo for third between Motown Lil and Miss Rock, who got home well, and then Bangs followed. Just behind them was Mosky on the inside, and then Peking Duck. Pop was the next one over. Back behind those then was...
А что у вас тут стол еще вкуснее, чем у нас?
Ну так, заходите.
Заходим. Ох, у вас тут и сыры.
Ой, у нас здесь...
Красота и музыка. Вообще, это же надо.
Очень вкусно. Да, ну попробовать надо. Все очень вкусно.
Yeah, he's a terrific trainer, that's for sure. What about Zach Purton? He's got 2 rides today. That's the first, and the other one is Fame Game. There you go. Back after this, and the panel will be giving you their thoughts on the Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Она запряталась.
Ни хрена не растет. Иночка все распродала.
Продала.
No pots and pans nor dancing shoes for Ash Pollard today, although depending on how the day you might be bringing the dancing shoes out. You've got a very important role today. It is the pin and win competition and you are the ambassador today.
I am, and it's absolutely my pleasure to be supporting the Starlight Foundation this year.
I can see you when you get it.
Good stuff, and the Governor-General, Sir Peter Cosgrove, arriving. Great Australian, with Michael Byrne, the chairman of the Victoria Racing Club. So he knows what it's like to bring a horse a long way and win a big race, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and that did mean a lot to him.
to a Flemington Carnival. We hear people talk about it's the Olympics of racing, and to shine on the big stage and meet the Queen, it's a phenomenal thing.
As the Governor-General's meeting the Victorian Racing Club board here, we know what the Melbourne Cup means to Australians. We just love it. It just means so much, and yet after 100 years, a Victorian country town is still celebrating a win.
She would have liked the skies to have opened and taken some cut out of this ground and given the horse his best chance, because that's where he's at
Flemington. He's my second pick. Every Australian seemingly has a bet. Glenn Mumsey from tab.com.au. Where are they putting our money?
Well, you're a year older, you're gone up 1.5 kilos and you've got a shocking barrier. So there's a lot of things that are detracting from him today, but the horse is very fit, he's well. Any luck in running a bit of...
And for our Western Australian viewers, it's time now to switch from 7-2 to 7 to continue watching the race. Just a reminder to everybody out there that if you want to watch the Melbourne Cup or any of 7's telecast today on your mobile, indeed any channel.
Так это же для себя. Меня не заставляли, но я хочу выпить. Так, эти идут, не идут.
Yeah, I noticed Tremek was walking out and he's right front. He was missing a shoe, so I just wandered over to Chief Steward Terry Bailey just to let him know that. Somebody had picked it up through the tunnel. We'll go into the shoe to keep that race plate on now.
And Sam Harlan's behind the barrier at the moment. How's Tremek handling it, Sam?
Yeah, he's nice and relaxed, the horse. So you can see there's a couple of barrier attendants on him just to keep him nice and clean them up with the rasp, and then he's good to go. But yeah, lucky that Simon saw that in the mounting yard. He picked it up very early. But Brent Nadvella, did you see it? Did you feel anything coming out when he lost his shoe?
Забег через 3 минуты. Вы думаете, лошадей? Нет, ваш забег.
Наш забег обычно мы со столом бегаем.
Further back in the field then was Wexford Town. They were followed then by Pop and Scott.
I need that every now and then. Here's Richard.
We'll get you one.
Well, for the 5th time on Emirates Melbourne Cup Day, Red Godot arrives, and doesn't he look superb? He's got his stablemate trip to Paris with him, and the journey is now complete. Can he go one better? He's been so brave in the past.
Все готовы.
Levant's Short Black, our 4th race today. Let's go behind the barriers with Sam Harland. Yes, and he's been second on 3 occasions. Well, 6 times an international horse has won. On 3 occasions, they've finished 1st and 2nd. They've never had the trifecta, and yet the betting suggests the 11 internationals have got a huge chance today. So at another point where the pre-race entertainment is...
Hyperno, Kingston Rule, Let's Elope, Saintly, Rogan Josh and Viewed. We remember, Bart, the Cup's king on this day, and remember one man's contribution to a cultural institution in this country, the race that stops a nation, and one of the greatest horse races conducted anywhere in the world. About the legacy of Bart Cummings.
Racecourse for the time-honoured Emirates Melbourne Cup. The skies have been blue most of the day, and we're at that magic moment, aren't we? Minutes before the horses are going to leave the pre-parade ring and come into the mounting yard and then make their way onto the track for the greatest prize in Australian racing. It's something we look forward to every year.
And then they're about to go down that tunnel. And at the end of that tunnel, the mounting yard and 100,000 people.
Hoping your horse is relaxed.
And that's the whole thing here, Bruce. These horses have been out parading for probably 15 or 20 minutes. There's plenty of people down in the back parade ring. They then go into the tunnel. No noise in the tunnel, no people in the tunnel. And they come out to screams and colour and movement. And your horse has to not in the mounting yard.
Just saw Gay there. She's got 2 runners. She's the only Australian woman to have trained a winner of the Cup. Paddy, is there money for the favourite?
Put on. I trust this young guy. He's a real talent, and I think he's got good nerves, a bit like my other jockeys. Yeah.
Feel like.
Well, I don't know how the connections of the horses feel, but I'm nervous for them, and the atmosphere here is incredible. Can you stop biting me? It's amazing how you've got so many people on all of the balconies, everybody just trying to get as close as they possibly can to the mounting yard.
With the original top weight when the weights were released by Greg Carpenter, Comic Court's the last one to have actually held that position and won the race. It's quite crazy, isn't it? And that's what Snow's guy's trying to do today.
But he's a very cool horse as well. Look, no horse has won the Melbourne Cup without a prep race other than Vintage Crop.
Because that's where he's a chance of running a place in the Melbourne Cup if the ground's wet. It's not today.
He won the Sydney Cup last year. This year's Sydney Cup winner is Grand Marshal.
Best Melbourne Cup chance. And I agree with him, Bruce. You know he can relax and stay. He's bred to stay by the champions of Beale. He's got that 1.25 mile Group 1 form, winning here at Flemington. He's my second pick. Huey Bowman, one of the best staying jockeys in Australasia, rides him from a very good barrier.
It stops the nation. It's a one day. Every Australian seemingly has a bet. Glenn Munsey from tab.com.au. At Caulfield after his stunning run in the 10A show.
Bruce, it's probably the first thing that appears to me when they're down at the barriers. Those horses have all gone down very calmly. Now, often you'll see a lot of sweat, a lot of horses getting very nervy, but for the ones we've seen so far, I think all connections, trainers and jockeys would be more than pleased where they sit.
And it's good temperature for the horses too, I think, Simon. I mean, there is a bit of sun about, but it's not a steamy hot day, is it?
I'll tell you what, I've never been treated this way before in my life. It's spectacular. The whole week, it's been absolutely brilliant. And the crowds are wonderful. It's just amazing. What an event. It's fantastic.
Now, they're at the gates.
They get a nice run in transit. I expect them to give us a bit of a shout at the 200.
I'm surrounded by some very nervous people, mate. Thanks for allowing me to jump in. Good luck.
No problem, thanks.
It's big money all round, isn't it? It's a $6 million race. Hamish McLaughlin behind the barrier. Hamish, it's a great spot to be. What are you seeing?
Oh, it's a fabulous spot, Bruce. The thing that takes you is just the calm and the quietness. We're 5 furlongs from the grandstands, just generally talking to their barrier attendants or occasionally to another jockey, but they're just trying to keep their horses relaxed. Criterion's just kicked out and hit the barrier, nothing.
And he goes near the outside for Ben Miller. Stand by for a start. Here's Excess Knowledge, completing it now. It's a great race about to begin. Set.
Just relax, riders, hang on.
So did the eased in the early part of the race. Pretty quickly, who's shot the marble? Saturnus Criterion. Next time, not too far away down the right to the inside.
Это невозможно. Это невозможно.
Riding forward, Big Boy's maintaining his line with Excess Knowledge on his outside, but they're both heading up towards the front running horses. It's quite a punch field. Not a tremendous amount of speed about the early part. He has about 4 or 5 behind him, and his outside element is quick. Quest for had crossed that Excess Knowledge out wide on the course. He's posted deeply out and he covered. Snow Sky picked on his fourth. And they're following Criterion on the inside. And Trip to Paris gets a nice run. A length and a half who shot the bottom. Max Dynamite. And then Sky Hunter on the outside. About a length and a half further back in the field as Bondi beats Prince of Penzance and Grand Marshal. Back behind those horses then is Outline and on the inside. Then Honda Pride, Red Caddo, Centurious the offer. About a length further back, Custom Blend on the inside. Then followed then by the United States and Fame Game. And well back in the field is El Moon Quinn. Hartwell the outside, followed by Preferment. And the length away is Kingfisher. He's at the tail of Big Orange now. He's out by 2 lengths. Excess Knowledge is second. West for War is third. Snow Sky is fourth. And Criterion getting a beautiful trail field. A length to Trip to Paris. As they make Hunter followed by Who Shot the Bum and Prince of Penzance. Then came Grand Marshal, Hippie Dance in the middle of the field at the moment. Being followed by Beach out 3 wide and then Ivanhoe. Being followed by Hocko's Raven on further back of Red Caddo. With him is the operator on the outside as they make their way down the back of the course and about a length and a half further back in the field then is Gust of Wind down on the inside. Back behind those horses then is the fairway back in the field. Centurious of Red Caddo and they're followed down Fame Game. He'd be 20 lengths away from the leader. Kingfisher is still back last. Hartwell's about third last. Coming up the side of the course they wait for comparison. He's working it on the outside. Sky wide out. Then Criterion trying to find a way through. Round the outside came Sky Hunter and Bondi Beach off the track is making ground 2. Now Ivanhoe waiting for a run down on the inside as they bunt it around. Big Orange first for home from Excess Knowledge. Snow Sky joining in and now Trip to Paris is coming. They're followed then by Who Shot the Bum and going for a run on the inside is our Ivanhoe. Coming past the 300 metres. Excess Knowledge went to the lead narrowly. Here's Prince of Penzance coming on down the outside. Prince of Penzance from Michelle Payne. Now Max Dynamite starts to charge home. Prince of Penzance from Max Dynamite. Prince of Penzance and history is coming to Michelle Payne. Prince of Penzance beat Max Dynamite. Criterion's run third. Then either Trip to Paris Gust of Wind or Big Orange. The next one's over. Just behind those horses, the offer. And then followed by Excess Knowledge. And back behind those then in the field was Fame Game, Elkman with Preferment. Kingfisher's well back with Hocko Brave, Grand Marshal, and Sky Hunter and the United States are towards the tail of the field. Michelle Payne has created history at Flemington, the first lady to win the Melbourne Cup. Prince of Penzance.
What an incredible chapter has been written here in the history of the great race.
Michelle, this is stuff you dream about as a kid and you've spent your life in horse racing. What a moment.
Unbelievable, Sam. I lied in bed last night and I gave my chance a little time to think and dream about it. When I won on this horse as a 3-year-old, he won here and I thought this is a Melbourne Cup horse.
In the history of the race, and boy, there's been a few. She rode for Bart. Her only other ride was for Bart Cummings in the Melbourne Cup, so that is so fitting.
And she won her first Group 1 race for Bart as well. She had suffered a bad fall, so she broke some.
What number? 19.
This is something truly extraordinary. Yep, she's a star, Michelle Payne. Darren Weir, he's a star. And this horse is...
Well, it's a stunning shock, but it's one of the best shocks any of us have ever had. I mean, it's just the most remarkable story. We've had 300-to-1 winners win the race in the history. This is close to 100-to-1 today. We'll find out exactly what price this horse has started at. Possible in Australian racing and nearly the world now. It's a Melbourne Cup.
What a story. I mean, he was a big prize. Did any of us give him a chance? I feel bad that I don't think we did. And Michelle has been actually saying all along that she's quite confident. She thinks he'll give her a great ride.
Payne family, Michelle getting her opportunities. She's had to do it tough being a female rider in a dominated sport by men. But she's got an affinity with this horse. I helped Michelle a little bit with some coaching, and she spoke to me about, will we get a run in the Melbourne Cup with this horse, and what do you think of my chances? And I said, well, he's hard. Payne family, Michelle getting her opportunities. She's had to do it tough being a female rider in a dominated.
What a moment. Can you believe it yet?
Oh, I can't believe it. The most funny thing is that my sister Margaret and I both had a feeling that I was going to win. And I actually had a really strong feeling I was going to win, but I thought, oh, don't be stupid, it's the Melbourne Cup. And you do it every year. This is everybody's dream as a jockey in Australia and now probably the world. And I dreamt about it from when I was 5 years old, and there's an interview which my school friends from Loretto will tease me about when I was about 7 that I said I'm going to win the Melbourne Cup, and I'm just going to win the Melbourne Cup, and they always give me a bit of grief about it. And I can't believe we've done it now. To think that Darren Lear's given me a go at such a chauvinistic score. John Richards and Darren's really solid with me. I put in all the effort I could. I go into every go I had and did everything I could to stay on him because I thought he had what it took.
What a day. So much still to talk about the Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Today, a first Melbourne Cup win for the trainer and a historic first Melbourne Cup win for a female jockey. For its outstanding continued support.
Has a history of allowing people to realise their dreams. Jockeys, owners, trainers, Australians at large. Our dream at the VRC has been to share the race that stops a nation, with the world.
Thought you might want to see it. Congratulations to the VRC and all those involved in organising this magnificent horse race. And of course that means congratulations to you, the sporting public of Melbourne. Together you've turned on an event and an atmosphere like no other in the world. For their splendid teamwork in bringing Prince of Penzance first past the post. Michelle Payne, you've heard a little bit about her already. You'll hear a lot more in the future, but I know that she can lay claim to having won a Group 1 race for the late Bart Cummings. It's now my great pleasure to present the 2015 Emirates Melbourne Cup to Sandy McGregor, who will receive the cup on behalf of the winning connections.
Of the Emirates Melbourne Cup, let's hear it for Michelle Payne.
Members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen, I gave myself a little bit of time last night before I went to sleep to think if I won the Melbourne Cup what I would say, and I sort of thought, don't be silly, but it's nice to be able to dream, and that's what racing's all about. She'll be so proud today, and I can't thank her enough for what she's done for me. Lastly but not leastly, I'd like to thank my family, my dad and all of my brothers and sisters, especially Stevie, who it was a dream come true to pick Barrier 1 and how it all worked out, and it was so funny when he let me go. He said, don't get beat, I got my money on. So so glad that I could get the job done for him today. So thank you very much, and yeah, it's just unbelievable. Thank you.
Darren Weir and Michelle Payne together. We had a story on Petrobus at the start of the day, 100 years ago, that he'd won the Cup. Mrs. Widders, the first female owner to win the Cup 100 years ago, and that horse was number 19, Petrobus, the same as our winner today. Well, there you go.
Этот самый, Тутанхамон. Тутанхамон, знаешь, он лежит в этой самой, у него такая штука.
Well, all men. I mean, how satisfying to beat them all.
It's pretty awesome. I was speaking to, he just saw me before he goes, I'm not going to say what he said to me, but he sort of abused me because he got suspended and fined 20,000. So,
Melbourne Cup winning jockey Michelle Payne is still getting the royal treatment, so to speak. Meeting Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall in Sydney last night. She was one of a number of VIP guests at a dinner hosted by the Governor-General, Sir Peter Cosgrove, at Admiralty House in Sydney Harbour. The royal couple head to Perth next, where Prince Charles will celebrate his 67th birthday tomorrow.
Good evening. The Melbourne Cup has produced perhaps the most remarkable and heartwarming result in the great race's history. The only female jockey in the field, Michelle Payne, rode 100 to 1 shot Prince of Penzance to victory.
I certainly do, Mitch. Michelle Payne. Michelle, it's taken 155 runnings of our most famous race, and you have become the first female jockey to win. What's going through your mind right now as you hold the Melbourne Cup?
it's pretty awesome. I feel a bit bad for the other girls who ride, and Claire Lindop, she's ridden 2 great races in the Melbourne Cup and ran 5th both times. And
you've come from a famous racing family, the youngest of 10. Your mother died when you were just a little baby. 8 siblings are jockeys. Family means a lot to you, and we saw Stevie, your brother. He drew barrier 1. What did it mean for him today?
That was awesome to start with. When he drew barrier 1, it was like, this is crazy. This is all falling into place. And after the race, like, I could see tears in his eyes, and I've never seen him like that. So it's so awesome to share this experience with him. He's
where Jackie Quist is with Michelle's dad, Paddy. Jackie, it's a special day for the Payne family.
Mitch, I'm here tonight with Paddy Payne, the 79-year-old patriarch of the Payne family, and he watched his daughter ride into the history books this afternoon from the comfort of his lounge room, nursing a cup of tea, didn't you?
I did.
Now, she's the youngest of 10 children, and how does this one rank amongst the proud moments in your family?
Oh, I think she's a great worker. She works very well and she gets what she deserves. She's worked hard.
The bumper crowd enjoyed perfect conditions today at Flemington. Melbourne turned on ideal weather for the fashion conscious to show off their finest. Melina Saris was among them.
They were often racing early at Flemington as well-dressed types leapt from the gates to secure the best spots trackside.
We get here early, catch the train first thing.
And if you can't get into the birdcage, bring your own.
Who needs to go to the birdcage? I'm wearing it on my head.
The Cup draws the most colourful crowds. Dancing to their own beat and dressing to stand out.
Oh, I entered Derby Day the other way and they were disgusted with my dress.
I wasn't expecting to win. I'm very shocked, but very happy.
There was even fine food to match the occasion. They travel far and wide for a day at the races, from America.
This is my actual favourite day of the year.
To China. 4,000 Chinese racegoers came for the carnival.
The Melbourne Cup certainly draws a diverse crowd, whether they're local, from interstate or overseas. They all have one thing in common. They're all here to party.
Princess Diana's niece and a chart-topping French DJ have cheered on the Melbourne Cup winner from the glamorous surroundings of the birdcage. Champagne flowed freely in the marquee as actors and sporting stars rubbed shoulders with businessmen and women and politicians. Kate Jones joined them.
30 years after Princess Diana was at Flemington, her niece, Lady Kitty Spencer, held court in the British-themed Emirates marquee.
Well, it's just exciting for a girl to get dressed up and, just to have fun, and, I feel like Alice in Wonderland in this dress.
The birdcage was a wonderland of colour. Rules dictate Cup Day get-ups should be bold.
It's quite a bright colour, it's a bit of a statement.
But no one's dress spoke louder than Jennifer Hawkins.
Cups, yeah, the right place to wear it, and get your sunglasses on.
There was a little room to experiment.
It's eclectic chic, this outfit, and it's just kind of come together beautifully.
I'm known for slightly quirky designs, but this one has a lot of meaning.
It's fitting that all the buzz today was about a horse called Fame Game, because that's a game that many in the birdcage know well, with familiar faces at every turn.
Another Melbourne Cup run and won in style. Kate Jones, 7 News.
The largest cruise ship to sail under the Westgate Bridge inched its way into the city this morning. The Pacific Dawn joined 3 other cruise liners in port, bringing 8,000 visitors here for Cup Day. Glenn Osborne went for a look.
In the pre-dawn darkness, the biggest vessel ever to venture up the Yarra squeezes below the Westgate Bridge. The Pacific Dawn, a 70,000-tonne superliner, inching its way towards the city. The massive P&O vessel is 47.6 metres high and edged its way under the bridge, which has a clearance of 50.1 metres.
It was really tight, but absolutely a wonderful thing to be able to do to bring her in under the bridge.
With tidal charts scoured over and tugs in support, the giant ship safely moored at Victoria Dock. 140 buses then helped its 2,000 passengers disembark from its opulent interior.
Beautiful. This is my 6th trip, so I'm speaking from experience.
Once ashore, most passengers made a beeline for Flemington.
So something we've always wanted to do is attend the Melbourne Cup, and we thought this was a good way of doing it.
It's not the only ship in town, with 2 other P&O liners, the Pacific Jewel and Pacific Pearl, and the Carnival Spirit, all making a home at Station Pier at Port Melbourne. The 4 ships contributed around 8,000 racegoers to the crowd at today's Melbourne Cup at Flemington, and over the next few days they'll inject more than $7 million into the Melbourne economy. Whichever way you measure it, these cruise liners have made Cup Day for its passengers like no place on earth.
Кто? Труженица, да? Труженица. Ну что ж, в этом что-то есть. А кто там у тебя хозяйничает на кухне? Маша. Маша.
Маша у меня...
Я вижу, она у тебя на хозяйстве-то.